Hi Antoine. Welcome to today's video debrief session and a big congratulations on your 655. What a journey it has been and what an improvement from your first cold mock score of a 460, which is a 465, a humongous 190-point improvement to a 655. So tell us, Antoine, how does it feel to be here?
No, thank you, Rashmi, and thank you for being by my side during this tremendous journey, which was not an easy journey, but the satisfaction at the end uh, is proportional to the effort that has been made. So, of course, super happy, super relieved when I finally saw this score on the screen at the end of the test, and no, super proud also of what we achieved together on this.
Yes, I think it was a moment of great pride to all of us, right? Because it was a very well-deserved score, and both of us know, all of us here know that it didn't come easy, right? It was a lot of sweat, lots of ups and downs, and lots of topsy-turvy ways into the journey, but all is well that ends well, right? So, uh, congratulations again, and we'll talk about the journey. But Antoine, just for our viewers, if you could give us a little bit of your background and how important GMAT was in this whole uh, planned journey of yours.
Shortly, my name is Antoine. I'm 34. I'm French, but I've been living abroad for now over 12 years. In the telecommunication industry, I had a sales and marketing executive position in an international famous operator. And I was at this stage of my career when I was thinking, okay, what to do next after all I've been doing, and the idea of coming back to an MBA and especially to executive MBA came. It was a long time dream that I had, but I had the chance and the opportunity to have new missions, new promotion almost every 2 years. So I never had the time to think about it, but now I thought it was the right time. And after looking for the different program I could apply, what would be the most interesting for me, starting the application, of course, came the topic of the GMAT.
Okay.
And I started to document myself, how to prepare for it. I knew the reputation of the test, that it's very easy, that many people are scared of it. Then you start to see like the million of video on YouTube or articles you can read about the GMAT, and looking, okay, how I will prepare for it to be ready or as soon as possible to be able to submit applications. When looking for it, I asked some friends, and it's true that a few friends recommended me to go to private tutors at the beginning. I gave it a try, but I'm working. I have a full-time job, which is quite demanding, and I couldn't compromise to say okay, I will be at this time of the day every day, 2 days, and do some homework. It was not a reason that was possible for me. And to be honest, I don't remember exactly how, but I came into contact with e-GMAT, and I just clicked the link to have an introduction section with one of your colleagues. That explained me your system, that proposed me to do a mock-up, that showed me a bit the platform, and told me how you work, about the mentoring system, and so on. And it convinced me. Also, I must say, compared to other options on the market, e-GMAT is extremely affordable. And doesn't impact at all the quality of your proposing. So I gave it a try. I started, and this is how I remember on 1st of August we met for the first time, Rashmi.
Yes, we did, right? And it was a different scenario then, right? Because you had just taken your first mock and your score was a 460, which is like, equivalent to a 465 in the GMAT focus test. So not great shakes. Verbal was at a 26th percentile. Quant was at a 23rd percentile, right? So what was your feeling post that mock, and how did you go about preparing from there? Because I know that you created your study plan, and if you could tell us the value of that study plan in this entire preparation.
No, the first mock-up was a bit scary for me because I realized how far is the top of the mountain for me. because my expectation from the beginning was to reach above 700 in classic GMAT, but quickly I focused on the focus edition, which would have been a 645. I knew the journey would be long, but I also that I took this mock-up almost not being prepared. I didn't revise any math before. I was not really conscious how the verbal part is working, so it was like based on my pure initial capacities. And here the study plan reassured me, because from the beginning, when someone is showing you the way to say like, okay, it's a long journey to come, but we'll have some checkpoints. First, we will go there, then you will go there, then you will go there. And on the expected time, you will arrive at your destination. And you have someone in front of you that has years and years of experience doing it, that has seen tons of journey as you do, and is reassuring you, saying like, no worries, it will work. You just engage in the way, you trust, you give your best, and at the end it worked, I have to say.
Yes. Yeah. Like we generally like to say, equate GMAT preparation with a project, and as in any project, what is the first step that you take after assessing the baseline? You plan, right? And that's the role of the plan. Without a plan, even the best intended projects fail. And that is so with GMAT preparation. Start with a good plan, which gives you, as you rightly said, the framework, what path to follow, what are the milestones that we need to look at, which are the checkpoints, and what is the timeline that we're looking at. That sort of, I think, sets the right context and the pace to the preparation. Okay, so great. Now coming to verbal, Antoine, the first mock score, you are at a 26th percentile in verbal. And from there, your final test score was a V87, which is the 99th percentile. And it's a huge, huge, huge improvement. So first of all, I want to ask you, because I know that you're a non-native speaker. So what were the major challenges that you had in verbal, right? Which, of course, that is what resulted in the 26th percentile. So what were the major challenges that you faced as a non-native speaker?
No, I'm a non-native. I'm born in France. It's true that I'm evolving in an international environment and speaking English for many, many years. But speaking English in a daily professional context versus dealing with English on GMAT is something totally different. The way the ideas are expressed on GMAT are very specific. The vocabulary that is used is very specific. There are some very complex contexts that are completely out of your comfort zone, like talking about science, about humanities, about tons of topics that probably you never read about. And I must say at the beginning, verbal was the part I was the most scared of. I knew I was not so good. I knew I was non-native speaker, so I was really scared about this part. And at the end, it is where I performed the best.
Yes, and it just can't get better, I think, 99%. So
here, to be totally honest, I have to give all credit to you and to e-GMAT, because you have such a methodology that is just taking you step by step to something that at the beginning you don't understand why you are doing this. I remember I saw at the beginning, I don't remember how many hours to spend on mastering comprehension. I was like, okay, thank you, but I know to read. But no, you are relearning to read, and you are relearning to understand, and you learn to put yourself in the scope of GMAT and the prism of GMAT on how you need to see things. And this was a complete change, because then any passage that you will read, you will see it in a different way. You will understand how they intended to build it, and what was their way. Immediately you understand what are the kind of questions that can come, and reading the passage, you already almost know what they're going to ask you, and naturally it leads you to this methodology that you developed of pre-thinking, that during reading the passage, sometimes even before to read the question, you already know what you will have to answer. And there is this trick also in the GMAT that almost all answers could be good, but at the end your choice is always narrow to two of them. And then with practicing, with all the exercise, all the questions you have already answered, you start to develop some experiences on, okay, what are the tricks I don't have to fall in? What could happen? Know what kind of topics is also testing GMAT make you very, very confident. And I think during the GMAT on CR at the end, I had almost I think I had 100% accuracy because it just felt easy. Because you know, like you will have a passage, you know what kind of notes you have to take, you know that during reading the passage, you will know what will come out, and then it's scanning the answers, and the good one will be almost obvious.
Yeah, so I think yes.
Just acquire this skill that became natural in the long way.
Yes. I think it's a great thing what you said. You know, one thing you said is it is a step-by-step process. You cannot, you know, Rome was not built in a day, neither was GMAT success, right? So you have to have that step-by-step approach. And in verbal, or for that matter in quant or DI, the first thing that you need to get right is comprehension, right? You need to understand what's happening there to be able to solve. And I'm so happy that in CR you brought up the thing. Once you understood, what you have to do is pre-think, right? And then move to answer choices, because that is where you get that clarity in the answer choices as to which ones to reject and which ones to accept or mark as the right answer choice. So tell us a little bit more about pre-thinking, because, you know, I'm sure if with the starting score of 26 percentile, your CR accuracy, if I see, was again around the 24th, 25th percentile kind of a place. From there to 100% accuracy is, you know, 99th, 100th percentile, right? So what value did pre-thinking add into this whole journey of CR?
I think it completely changed your approach to this kind of question. Naturally, what you are doing, you are reading a text, you are reading the question, you are seeing what are the options possible, you come back to the text, and you are doing back and forth like forever. So first, it changed your approach. Secondly, I think it helps you to gain a lot of confidence, because it's not anymore like, okay, let's understand every single choice and see what is asking each of them. It's like, no, I know what I have to expect. I know what I'm looking for. It's not like you give me a ton of options and I have to choose. It's not like I know what I came to buy and looking for it, which is a completely different experience that gives you a lot of confidence in this kind of question. Third thing is it helps you to save a lot of time. One of my main challenges at the end on the verbal part was the time management. And even though I was quite comfortable in verbal, for example, I made a mistake in the first attempt at GMAT that I didn't validate the last question because I lacked of time, which penalized me for sure quite a lot. On the second attempt, I had the same. This time I validated everything, but I think when there was 5 minutes left, I still had like 6 questions to answer, so I was very late. Thanks to the appropriation I had of pre-thinking and dealing with CR question, I could answer the question very easily because I just said, Antoine, you know how to deal with it. You just don't have time to take notes on this last question and so on. But I was just scanning the test quickly, pre-thinking, finding the answer, and I had 100% accuracy on this last 6 question because you try to do it well. You try to concentrate to apply the methodology, but also. This helps you to develop the skills in case of emergency, how to adapt. And this saves you during the test.
Yeah, and I think as you rightly said, you know, it doesn't come naturally because it's a new process, but you need to be patient with it and repeatedly apply it so that it becomes second nature to you. And even under time pressure, this is the process that will actually help you save time and get to that great accuracy, right? So brilliant, Antoine. Now coming to RC, I know RC journey was not as straight lined as CR. There were hiccups, right? So can you take us through your RC journey and how did doing the e-GMAT course really help you ace GMAT RC?
Reading comprehension was a pain, to be honest. First of all, because of who I am, because I'm not a big reader, I'm not a big of reading, especially long text, especially complicated text that on topics that I'm not really fascinated about. It's true that e-GMAT gave me the methodology, like the few tips you give at the beginning, like okay, how to engage with such a text and so on, helps you a lot. Little by little, I could find a way. The problem I faced with RC was most of all time management, that I was taking far too much time to read the passage, because they are complicated passage, because many times I didn't have all the vocabulary, that because I'm not native also I had to take a lot of notes. So it was complicated for me to manage the time, and it was the first challenge. The second challenge is any RC practice is demanding. It's not like CR is also demanding. The CR, you just read a free line and you answer a few questions. Like you can practice 10 questions in a short amount of time. RC, you have to dedicate some of your time, and you need to be 100% involved. And I remember some discussion that we had at some stage, and I said like, Rashmi, I'm sick of reading these passages. I read the first line, I'm already tired. I can't see it no more. And you gave me very good advice, because you told me like, okay, get out of it for a few days, focus on reading some kind of articles online that I was doing every morning. It became my routine. Say like, okay, every morning I will read 2 articles of something I have no idea about, I don't care about, but just to have this of reading complex text and get familiar with it. And little by little, the reading comprehension module came back, and he succeeded. And it was key, because the surprise I had maybe in the GMAT Focus edition was the proportion of reading comprehension is quite high. During the test, I think I had 5 passages, which is quite quite.
And I've heard you do get longer passages in
it was you have a mix, which was it happened during the two tests, that you have some quite short passages that are easy to manage, and then I had 2 very long ones, and especially I had both time had a very long one at the end. So when you think like you don't have reading comprehension anymore, that you manage well your timing, come a very, very long passage, like 5 or 6 paragraphs. Oh, I'm already late. I will have to read it super, super fast. Need to develop this ability.
Okay. I know what you mean, but I think what really comes down to the fact that if you have a particular technique of approaching a particular RC, as in you have the right tools in your toolbox, then irrespective of the length of the RC, complexity of the RC, or the topic that it belongs to, you have the tools required to tackle the RC.
That's all the point. Like what you develop with the verbal methodology that you teach is that, of course, during the test you try to apply it by the book, to do it well, to take your note, to apply the methodology. But as I say, like at the end, when it comes moment of emergency, the skills you have it, and you just can free a bit yourself and say like, okay, now I go with what I know, less methodology, let's go straight forward.
So very well said, Antoine. I think the important thing about RC, or anything for that matter, is to apply the process so often that the process sort of becomes intuitive to you, so that irrespective of the kind of passage that you are looking at, or the topic or the length, things just go into an autopilot mode and you get that accuracy within that time, right? And I think these are the features, the whole, the structured approach that you took towards verbal, the repeated application of process, just not giving up despite the hurdles that you faced, were all supremely important in that journey from the 26th percentile to the 99th percentile in verbal, right? So after verbal, of course, we moved to quant. And in quant, I remember you having said that you were more confident about quant than verbal as you started your preparation, as in when you took the mock. But I know that the quant journey was not without its challenges. So can you tell us what were the challenges that you faced? Did quant come as easily as you expected? And what is the thing about GMAT quant that stands out for you?
Well, indeed, as you said, my journey in quant was quite reverse to verbal, because in verbal, at the beginning, I was not confident and I landed to high score. Whereas in quant, I came with the belief that I was quite good enough. And life, it is a word that when you don't know what you don't know. I started the modules, and quickly I realized that there are a lot of concepts that I knew, but for GMAT, it's not enough to know. You need to master the concept. You need to know every single trick of what could happen with this concept. And I had this pressure on timing because I wanted absolutely to apply on round one for many universities. I didn't think I would have to spend so much time. So this where I entered a bit into a rush, and it got complex for me in the process. But you have to trust this process to review every single topic. The platform has prepared me very well, because I could review every single area of mathematics that are tested on quant to apply them. And it's just, yes, I needed a bit more time than what I was thinking. What probably I didn't know about quant is that the GMAT really doesn't allow you area for mistakes. I landed with a Q78, whereas I made, if I remember well, 3 or 4 mistakes out of 21 or 23. So really, there is no room for mistake. You really need to master every concept. My starting point was not as high as I was thinking. I didn't do any maths since high school, or at least maths like this. But at the end, I reached a score that helped me to allow a global score that was satisfying for me.
Very true. I think somewhere along the line, we also realized that quant was getting challenging. And because verbal was good, we thought we will really up the DI, because verbal had already reached a spectacular level post your verbal studies. And that's where we, I think, prioritized verbal and DI over quant at one stage, right? But tell me, as soon as you started the prep, you realized that quant is not going to be that easy. So did the course sort of help you, bridge the gaps that you had to a level wherein the quant score that you would achieve will help you get to the height?
Definitely, because you start back from the basics, and reviewing the basics enable you to learn to do the things, not because you know historically or you remind how to do it, but you remember also why it works like that. And reviewing it on each area definitely helped me. Then one of the challenge for me was to apply correctly to the GMAT type of questions, these methodologies. And also as well, you came with great help. I remember this face-to-face session we could have with you or with Rajat, which was also like, okay, what kind of attitudes to have towards this question? Because we can know the concept, in the way to apply them, everyone is unique. And at the end, I was struggling on one part that you helped me to unlock, and that enabled me to make much less mistake, and at least to go to the test with much more confidence on the quant part.
Very true. I think the key feature was that internalizing and using process skills. I think the biggest issue was the translation skill, which sort of got fixed, and that's really brilliant. Now, then DI, we came to DI. DI was sort of a because you work in this sector, you've had exposure to data and data analytics. But tell me, when it came to the DI course, how prepared did the course make you for the test, and how comprehensive was your preparation?
Well, as you know, the point on data insight, it is a new section. So basically, it's okay, what to expect there. One part, which is an important part, is the data sufficiency that I dealt a lot with during the quant courses. So I was kind of ready for this. Then for all the part of graph table analysis, I had the chance that it is part of my daily activity. So I was quite confident. It was just like, okay, then what type of question will come on the board. And then you have the famous MSR, which is just an exercise to know about. But the point is that first, the resources I found on e-GMAT was very sufficient and very in line with what I found on the real GMAT. So I knew what to expect, I knew what kind of question will come, what kind of, how we organize the data and so on. But, very well, and I didn't have to use anything more than what I found on e-GMAT.
Okay.
Second thing, the end data insight is data sufficiency, and for the rest, it's accumulation of what you learned on verbal, how to understand some complex and how to infer information and so on, and application of methodology in quant. So when you have already learned these two parts separately before, it's quite easy to come to data insight. You just have to understand, okay, what will be in the test, how it will be organized. And at the end, I didn't spend much time on this preparing this section, but it came quite natural, and still I reached a score that was satisfying.
Yeah, I think it was a 94th percentile, which is brilliant. So you did not use any other resource other than e-GMAT to, get there, right?
No, for preparing the data insight, neither the rest. I didn't have to. You are far enough on e-GMAT, and you can spend already a lot of time answering these questions there. So I didn't have need for more.
That's brilliant. So, and when I was looking at your account, okay, you've used over 1,200 questions on the Scholaranium, the quizzing platform on e-GMAT.
I can't believe it.
Yes, you have. Over the course of the 3-4 months that you've been at e-GMAT, you have used those questions. So can you give us an insight as to how did Scholaranium and the data analytics on the platform, right, really help you get to your target? And before getting into that, I just want to tell our viewers, if you've been in the GMAT journey, you know that 1,200 questions is not so much. We have people who use brute force approach, solving a ton of questions. By those standards, you have not solved a ton of questions. You have solved pretty limited when it comes to 1,000-odd questions, including verbal, quant, and DI. But how did you make each of these questions count and really get to that, 96th percentile cross?
No, it's Scholaranium is fantastic because it helped me at different stage. Well, first, you have this phase approach. At first, you're learning, you are acquiring the skills, and then you come to this, what you call the cementing quiz, where you have this little challenge at the end, like the little exam in the exam, which is, okay, I start with medium question with a 70% accuracy needed, then moving to hard one with 50% minimum needed. So it's like your little challenge to validate, like, okay, what I've done so far is enough. And to have like this immediate feedback on perform and how ready you are is fantastic, and it's like, okay, I completed the step, I can move forward. The second part is once you have learned everything and you start to practice, to mix, and to focus. Here was great is first to have your insight on how to focus, how many questions to answer, all this insight you could give me. But also the platform that allows to select, okay, what type of what section you want to focus on, what question. Do you want to focus on timing, or do you want to focus on methodology by reviewing one question? You can really like tailor-made your practice without making many research. As I say, like I used only e-GMAT for practicing, because there are so many questions that you don't have really to repeat the question. You can also focus on what you answered wrong before to remind it. So the tool is very convenient. Also, every single question has a detailed explanation on how to solve and a detailed process. If the explanation is not enough, or it could happen to me, you are not aligned with the process, you have this possibility to send a question on the given passage. And on my case, I always add an answer in less than 12 hours, which is like a very personalized feedback on what you need, what you didn't understand personally, and it was precious. And the last thing about Scholaranium is that you have this registry of everything you've done so far. So also at some stage when I was a bit tired of just doing new questions and so on, you can just go to the web page, go to tests that you've seen before, and review this question, just reading, okay, this one I've done wrong, and it was for this. It's a good complementary to error log. I know it's not what is recommended, but I didn't use much error log, but I used a lot the Scholaranium history to review what I've done before, and really to have everything in one place is very, very convenient. And it saves you a lot of effort, a lot of energy, and you can just focus on practicing every day.
You're very right, Antoine, because what happens is when you are preparing your, you start by building a rock solid foundation that is about learning concepts, learning applications, really internalizing them. And then you need to move to mastery of those applications, which comes by practicing on medium and hard GMAT-like questions, right? This also gives us an insight into, are there any pockets of weakness that we need to target to improve? Is it about timing? Is it about accuracy? Is it about a specific topic, right? And I think what an important point you made is one has to improve from one quiz to another. And these insights really help. And I just want to share the screen here to show, how you really put what we are just discussing to practice to improve with each quiz. This is your verbal scholaranium, and we are just, as you can see, we are just looking at the hard data, right? And you can see the improvement. You started out at a 55th percentile in your first hard cementing quiz and reached a 65% accuracy for hard questions. So 55 to 65 is just 100% improvement in accuracy. In terms of ability, it goes and takes you to that 90th percentile plus ability, right? And this is a wonderful accuracy to have for hard questions, right? In RC2, if you look at your progression, the initial hiccup in RC was 40, and then you went all the way to 80% accuracy, which is 95th percentile plus, right? And this also gives us that assurance that we are moving in the right direction, and also the predictability that that you have built the ability to reach that top score on the GMAT, right? And kudos to you on having used all these features to really get there. That's brilliant. Now, you did all this, you put in the effort, even with the very busy work schedule, you put in the hours, you put in the effort, the sweat, everything, right? But unfortunately, the first GMAT attempt did not go too well, right? Somewhere all of us knew that given all the data that was collected, you could have scored as in reached your target in the first attempt itself, but things did not pan out the way we intended. It was disappointing. I'm sure it was to some extent demotivating too, right? But between first to second attempt, you did certain things, reached your target, rather surpassed your target in your second attempt, where you got that 655. So can you walk us through what was your mindset post the first test? How did you pick yourself up from there? And what changed in the second test that you really, surpassed your target?
As I shared with you sometime, GMAT is a roller coaster experience, and it gives you really a lot of emotions, positive as negative one. And yes, after studying for more than 4 months, I really felt I was ready. Like every mock-up, I was nearly at my target score. I could reach accuracy with quite a good consistency. And I went to the first test like, okay, today I'm going to do it. I'm ready. It will happen today. It's fine. And it didn't. It didn't, and it's even worse because I knew I didn't do perfect during the test. And GMAT is quite harsh because when you click your last question, the score immediately appears on the screen, so you know immediately what's going on. And it went not bad. It went a disaster. It was a 575. It was the worst score I ever had. It was not a score allowing me to apply to any university I'm targeting. So no, it was very, very tough. Hopefully, I would say you were there, you and Rajat to find the right word and to motivate me again, and allowed me to. I think 3 things have changed between the first and the second attempt. I took only 1 month between the two. First thing, you would not like it, but during this month, I almost didn't practice GMAT. I tried first is to forget about GMAT. I had an obsession and probably I made an overdose of GMAT. I just couldn't sit anymore. So I took some distance. As you shared with me many times, like the skill you acquired, you're not going to forget it in a few weeks. They are there. So I was just doing a few questions here and there every few days, just keeping the mood and taking some distance to the day I will go there, forget a bit about the impact. Not thinking like, okay, if I have such score, I can apply to this university and it's important and this is the day. No, just go relax. You have the skills. This is the World Cup final. Just play it, enjoy it, and you will win it. But take some distance. It was the first thing. Second thing is I was much more familiar with the GMAT environment. You do mock up at home, you just had a cup of coffee, you are in your home, nicely sat, you know the environment, everything is easy. When you go to the center, everything is made to make you stressed at the end. You have to check in, you have to wait. On my first attempt, I had to wait quite a long time. Then you have this identification process, the security process. You enter this room with a lot of people, with people observing you in atmosphere you don't know. You feel the pressure that this is the day. So you are not at your best to perform. The second time, everything is familiar. So you know what will happen. You can anticipate already what are the steps. And I went there like, okay, it was just a formality. Let's do this, let's do that. Okay, let me sit now so I can answer and do my thing. And this changed absolutely everything in terms of attitude. The last thing I don't like, but it's true, is that you learn the magic of a computer adaptive test. That it's not only about your performance. There are some things that you don't or you can't understand. At the end, when I look in terms of mistakes I made, I think I made only one mistake less on the second attempt than the first one. And my score is 80 points higher. And this is the magic of the computer adaptive test. Yes, it has its pros and its cons, but it is how it works and what you have to accept. So these are the three main things that change. And yeah, just going with a relaxed mind, being confident, knowing the environment is what helps to perform, I think.
Very true. I think you spend so much time building that ability, getting there. What is the game changer on the day of the test, which really helps you get to the target or your dream GMAT score, is finally trusting in what you built, right? Having that confidence that you know that what you have built will help you get there. That confidence is a big, big thing. Second would be the mindset with which you approach. If you, as you rightly said, if you put yourself under too much pressure, then it becomes difficult to deliver on the D-Day. The third thing is to familiarize yourself, right? Just for the other viewers there who are thinking of taking an in-center test, it could be that you could speak to somebody who has taken an in-center test to understand what kind of experience you can anticipate. If it's an online test, you could speak to somebody who's taken an online test just to understand what to expect, because that sort of takes away a lot of feeling of uncertainty and surprise on the D-Day, right? So essentially, between the two tests, you took some marks, didn't go too well, but what really comes across is on the day when it mattered, you went and gave the test with the confidence, right? Because as you said, you've spent 4 months building the ability. It is not going to go anywhere in a matter of few days, right? So that trust, that confidence, I think, is supremely important. And that confidence also comes from when you trust the data that you, like what you just saw. You've seen that upward curve. So where is it going? It's not going anywhere, right? So brilliant. I'm so glad that, we at my whole team, Rajat, the entire e-GMAT family was so glad when you sent out that message about your score. It was a fantastic day. So congratulations again, right?
Thank you.
So Antoine, one thing I want to ask, it was a long journey, a lot of hiccups, ups and downs. Finally, a story ended like a saga wherein you have your ups, downs, but ends well. So you've used e-GMAT through and through as a part of this journey. So is there any specific feature that you want to call out and which really, helped you get here?
No, e-GMAT was very complete. First of all, you have this methodology that you've built over the years that is, I think, demonstrated its effectiveness. The second point is the platform is very well built. The UX, the UI is very well thought, is very user friendly. At the end, I was seeing e-GMAT almost as a video game. Like every day you launch, and today I will play level 1, and tomorrow it will be level 2, and it's quite very dynamic. And one of the big plus, as I said, is like there are tons of resources about GMAT everywhere on the web, on YouTube, tons of video, of seminars. There are too much. And the thing that you don't have to think or to search what you're going to work on one day. You know that you just have to follow the course, and step by step, it will align and give you feedback on your performance. It's just very comfortable, honestly. The differentiating aspect for me of e-GMAT is this mentoring system. I told you many times, and it's not to flatter you, but I don't think without you I would have done it, Rashmi, because from day one to have someone by your side is very precious. GMAT is a lot of up and downs, and at the end it's a very solitary adventure because nobody around you understands what you are living. Your colleague at work is not really something you're talking about usually. Your family, and I had the chance to have a very supportive family, accepting me to cancel a lot of things, change a lot of things, because my life was morning, afternoon, evening, night about GMAT, and they supported me all the time. But they don't understand what you're living.
Yeah.
And to have someone with you that know what it is, that has seen ton of journey, that always have the right words, always can guide you of, okay, what to do, how to adjust. When you're pissed off, okay, how to take a bit of relax, when to push more. It's just luxury. And this changed absolutely everything for me during the learning, but also during the last steps, because just this encouragement you can send, like it sounds stupid, but just to receive a message on the morning that you go from your mentor to say like, okay, we believe in you today, you will make it. It makes something. You don't go to the test with the same attitude, and you know that you have people supporting you that believe in you, and it pushes you to go even higher. So no, thank you for this, Rashmi, because you've been absolutely precious. And yes, this mentoring system, I think, is a key success factor.
It's been an absolute pleasure working with you, Antoine. I think we as a company regard student preparation, their success, we regard it at the highest level, and that sort of runs in the DNA of the company. And I think, it's been a pleasure. It's just it's good to see somebody achieve this massive transformation and get to their dream score. We take this as a personal achievement too.